Yes.
Sorry, it's all of a sudden.
That's fine. It's okay.
Oh.
So, Tatjana, thank you so much for being here back at the show. It is always so cool to have you here. It is awesome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Cool. Now, before we start, you know the drill. You're gonna have to give you an epic, badass, super proper welcome to someone as badass as you. So.
Around. What is that noise?
Huh?
My dog is looking around and he's
well,
like
you will you know, like during this whole day with the interviews, like my puppy was right next to me. But the thing was that he was just biting my hand the whole time. So in a lot of the interviews, I was just like, dude, stop it, because he was just chewing my hand over and over and over, and yeah,
get it, do they?
Yeah, but this is part of it, I guess. So.
And congratulations on 100 episodes.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been really awesome, and I still can't believe that I made it into 200 episodes, especially in 4 months.
Just the beginning.
You know, yeah, totally. Just the beginning, and a lot of awesome things are coming soon. I've been planning like a lot of interesting things in the future. Also adding like more stuff, like music on it, like some of my mixes, which I haven't sent you some of my mixes, but I will. I just been super crazy busy with this, and and believe me that I have like my turntables and everything set, and every time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make a mix right now for her, then I just will look at the clock and be like, it's 3 a.m. No, I don't think I'm gonna do it today. I was gonna do it, so, but I will do it. That's on my list.
All right.
Now, starting with the whole interview now. Tell me, what's new since our last interview?
Since I last spoke to you, I had a film come out called Shelter in Place.
Yep.
It's a horror film, and for a change, but we filmed it. Well, actually, we're going to get to that, aren't we? So yeah, I did that, and then also the second season of show Purgatory came out, which is pretty exciting.
Totally. So, talking about Purgatory season 2, so it was released recently, but like, tell me, what are some of the highlight moments you had during the shooting for this new season?
Well, it was kind of crazy because we shot season 2 at the beginning of this year, and so it was still like pretty like COVID heavy, and we had all of the restrictions, and we had to fly to Armenia because that's where we were filmed it, and we filmed it at this specific cave, so it wasn't like recreated in America, which was talked about. But yeah, so we were like flying internationally during COVID, which was interesting. And yeah, the production had to be shut down a couple of times because, I mean, it's so hard to control that many people on the who were being tested every 3 days, and like the security was at maximum. Like they were trying to do everything they could to make sure that no one got COVID, but like we would get response, and so we go into lockdown for 5 days. It's like a whole thing. Yeah,
totally. And what can we expect to see in season 2, and where can we find it?
Okay, so it is available every Thursday on Popstar TV, and I believe there's 4 episodes of season 2 out at the moment. And what can you expect? I don't want to give anything away, but you know, people have been stuck in a cave for a little while now, and they are not so slowly losing their minds. So things get great.
That's cool. And what did you enjoy the most about your character, Lisa?
I love Lisa. She, like, you meet her and she comes across as this kind of prissy, spoiled, entitled girl. And throughout the 2 seasons, I got to develop her into someone who is nothing like what the audience expect her to be. She grows, she becomes the voice of reason within this group, which is just very outside of her character, and ultimately, like, she becomes a leader, and I really enjoyed playing that story arc.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, let's make it. Let's make a hashtag. Hashtag Team Lisa.
Team Lisa, absolutely.
There you go. There you go. Now, besides this awesome update, Monsters of Man, it's on the top 10 in Amazon Prime Video. So congratulations on that. That's super cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah, right? Now, for those who hasn't seen it yet, tell me a little bit of what they can expect on that show.
Okay, so Monsters of Man, we filmed it in the hills of Cambodia, and basically a film about 4 killer robots that are dropped into the Cambodian jungle to destroy this drug ring. When the robots, I'm not really giving, this is all in like the first 5 minutes of the film. And when the robots get there, they realize that there's a group of doctors from America helping like the villagers. And this is meant to be like some top secret thing. And so everybody just needs to be killed. And so it's basically us just like running through the jungle, trying to escape these robots.
That's cool. Jungle, robots, action.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we expect, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And like, what are some of the things that you enjoy personally about that show?
I loved the fact that we got to film on location in Cambodia. We got to see so many incredible parts of Cambodia that I would have never had access to or to visit if I was by myself. So that was really cool. And we also got to not like hectic stunts, but we got to do like minor stunts, which I always really enjoy. I don't personally fight the robot, which is a bit of a shame, but people got to.
There you go. There you go. Now, besides these two epic news, a couple of weeks ago, Shelter in Place released a trailer. So tell me about that film and about your character.
So Shelter in Place is a horror film set in the Roosevelt Hotel during the pandemic. And we actually filmed it like in April, May of 2020. So we filmed it like right when everyone was in lockdown in LA, and so nobody was actually using the Roosevelt Hotel, and they were kind of like, hey, do you want to shoot a film here? And we were like, heck yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, so it is literally, the hotel is completely empty except for us, and I've had free reign of the place, and it's about a honeymooning couple. Myself and my husband, who's played by Brendan Hines, are stuck essentially on our honeymoon in this hotel because in this reality, like, no one's allowed to go anywhere, and weird things start happening. And I saw the trailer. Let me tell you that it's so cool. Oh, thank you.
It looks really cool. Yeah, I definitely, you know what, I need to give you an epic shout out for that. So
thanks.
Yeah, that's for sure. But like, tell me, what else can we expect from that film, and when are we gonna be able to watch it?
So it's actually out already. It's out on Amazon, and it's on TV, and you can get it anywhere in the world. So it's already sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, like when, so yeah, basically when are we gonna be able to watch it? So go watch it. That's so cool. Then I guess we have to watch it this weekend. Yes,
exactly. Let me know.
So cool. Now tell me, what is one of the things that you enjoy the most about doing horror scenes and action scenes?
I feel like in our everyday life, thankfully, we don't have to deal with a lot of the things that people deal with in action films. So like killer robots, something that I haven't actually experienced personally, or like supernatural ghosts and things like that. So I think what I enjoy about acting within those genres is really like putting myself in that situation and thinking about how I would actually react. And it's a pretty bizarre like conversation I have in my head when I'm like getting into it. I'm like, well, she wouldn't do that to me. And I'm like, well, what would I do? It's like, well, that would be wild. But what was so interesting actually about Shelter in Place, I'm just going to circle back to that, is that there was no script actually. So the entire thing is dramatic improvisation, which was terrifying, but also super freeing. So it did give me a lot of license to react to things the way that me, Tatjana, would do as well.
That's so cool. And tell me, like, how you usually break character, you know, like having this intense chasing horror scene and then return to be you. Like, do you have like a special process or do something, or just be like, okay, and you just return to be you?
To get into character, or like
to break character?
Okay. Well, usually when people say cut, everyone sort of just like, let's go and we're out. So I've never really thought about it. That's an interesting question. Yeah, there's always so much going on, even like when you're in the scene, that I think the minute that they do call cut, you're like, okay, shit, when we do that again, what I'm actually going to do. And then you're talking to the person that you're actually, you're like, okay, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to like step on you that time, but like next time let's do this. So I don't think it's like a moment that you actually like think about. It kind of just keeps going.
Yeah, because I mean, I wonder if it might be kind of surreal sometimes that whenever, so on the scene you are chasing by this monster and then they yell cut and then the monster would say, you want to grab coffee? And you're like, yeah, sure, let's go. You know, like, like those moments in which you just cut and normality for a while again. So I wonder that must be kind of funny sometimes, you know?
Well, in Cambodia, when we were being chased by these robots, like the robots were actually played by men in blue suits.
Yeah.
And they were like our friends. We ate breakfast with them. We ate lunch with them. Yeah. And so they were holding sticks and they were like walking around chasing us, saying bang bang, and we were like terrified.
Yeah. And that is what I think is awesome, that you are watching this blue guy chasing you, which is totally hilarious, but you have to put your horror face, like you're super scared, you know? So I think that's kind of the beauty of it, you know? Yeah,
for sure.
So cool. And from all of your different performances, which one has been like the deepest learning curve? I mean, like the performance that you learned the most lessons from?
Well, Monsters of Man was actually my first ever feature film. So I feel like I learned the most off that, because I'd done like little roles here and there, but that was the first one that I was like a pretty main component of the film.
Yeah.
So I think I learned the most there because I was just kind of thrown into it and you kind of had to sink or swim. And I got to work with so many different people and I got to observe them and learn from them. But then Shelter in Place was like a whole other kettle of fish, because there was no script, and the two actors that I was acting with were such veterans and they had so many tricks of the trade and they were so brilliant that I was just like taking everything that I could to like keep up with them.
That's so amazing. Yeah. Wow. And like, tell me, what motivates you or gets you back up whenever you're having a bad day?
Oof. I have a lot of, I would say maybe like once a month I kind of go through this whole like, what am I doing with my life in a dialogue. I think it's important to make sure that your whole life, like that there are other things that you like doing, and because if you're going to put all of your eggs in one unpredictable, unforgiving basket, then you're gonna have time. So I think like if I'm having a bad day, I'll kind of just pivot, and it's easier said than done, but pivot and like try to be grateful for everything that I have going on, and play with my dog, or just dwell on the good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is like the important thing to do whenever you are hearing this minions in your head, to like questioning everything that you do, if what you do is worth it, if you should continue or not, if people and the thing is that if you let them speak, then it can pretty much ruin your whole day. It will make you feel like even more miserable.
And sometimes that happened too, you know what I mean? Like I'm spiraling and then I'm like, fuck it. So I spiral the whole way down, but it's much harder to get out of that. how I
Yeah.
usually.
Now, what could you say to those who aren't sure anymore if they should continue building like their dreams or not?
I think that's a tough question. I think at the end of the day, if it's what makes you happy, then you should pursue it. Because, interestingly, a little while ago, I started asking everybody that I knew whether they were happy or not. And the answers that I was getting were crazy. There were so many people that would not consider themselves happy. And I'd never that had never crossed my mind that you wouldn't like work every day towards happiness. That's kind of like how I live my life. And so I feel like if something that you're doing is bringing you joy and you may not be succeeding at it at first, if it's something that you like, keep at it.
True. Yeah. Because it gets difficult, right? Or sometimes it might get like a little bit stressing, because sometimes even your family or very close friends might question you, might telling you that stop what you're doing, or things like it's not worth it, or stuff like that. And I get it that sometimes they're saying it because they don't want you to get hurt, but at the same time I do believe that's life, that if you don't take risk, if you don't take the opportunity to do what you enjoy the most or what makes you happy, then what's the point of being alive? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, another thing too, and again, it's easier said than done, but like everybody is on their own path. No one understands the path you're on except you. So especially as actors, or even anyone that's kind of forging their own way, or like self-employed, it's hard for people who have 9-to-5 jobs to understand where you're coming from and what you do all day, every day. So there's no point comparing yourself with anyone else, and just continue doing what makes you happy.
Totally. Now, if you had to describe your career during this year in one of your characters from films or shows, which one would you choose?
I don't know. All of my characters like have such awful things happen. You know what I mean? I don't want to choose any of them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you probably know.
One's stuck in a cave, one's being like
yeah, you're right.
The other one like is stuck in a hotel with like ghosts. I don't know. Totally.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no. Let's keep that question. Yeah, totally. Now, tell me, what can we expect from Tatjana in the future?
So I have 2 films coming out. I don't know when, just yet. They are both horror films. One of them is called Never Blink, and it kind of like delves into what happens when we're blinking, because we actually spend 48 minutes of every single day blinking, and when you don't actually see what you're seeing, your brain is kind of like patching 2 things together to make sure that you don't miss anything. But like a lot of what we think we're seeing while we're blinking is actually not what we're seeing. And so I play a kind of scientist who is like looking into the science of blinking and what we're actually missing and what our brain's telling us.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So that one's cool. I have another called No Tears in Hell, which is loosely based on a true story, Russia, about cannibals.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So more happy stories coming your way.
Yeah. So definitely, I will make sure to not ask the question about how can you describe your career with one of your characters from films. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's not like a good idea at all. That's so cool. That's so amazing. Well, I mean, you just keep going. I mean, that's really cool. The fact that you're getting involved into more films here, that you are keep pursuing it, that you keep building your career. That is really awesome and really impressive. And at the same time, it's super badass. I mean, basically, what you've done is super cool. At the end of the day, I mean, if someone needs to get inspired, they just need to watch your story, and that's it. Problem solved.
Nice of you to say.
Totally.
Thank
Now,
you.
like, my last question here is, what could you say to those who are just barely starting, who are barely starting in the acting business? Because I have like kind of this conversation before with an actor who was recently starting, and they were telling me that it's challenging, that it's super hard, that it's difficult, but it's what they love. But I wonder, like, what would you say now that you have like a long career now? You have like a ton more experience here. So what could you say to those who are recently starting the acting business?
I would say strap yourself in, because it doesn't happen overnight. I would also, again, say don't compare yourself to anybody else, because everybody's journey is unique to them and their own. And also, there are a million ways to skin this cat. Just because you didn't get this one job doesn't mean you won't get the next job. And just because this person was on YouTube and now like famous doesn't mean that's the way to do it either. You just have to like keep on dancing to the beat of your own drum, and you will get there. There you go.
Wise words here. I mean, basically, Tatjana, at the end of the day, as I said before, your career is awesome. If I had to describe your career with only saying one thing only, I would say this.
Thanks.
No problem. And also, because we finished the questions, I need to give you another epic shout out. So that's the second one here. And again, there we go. And again, thank you so much for being here. I mean, at the end of the day, I love how you're building your career now, like in how many projects you're getting involved. That's so cool. Make sure that you keep doing it, because you're rocking it. And also, thank you so much for those who tune in. If you're watching this later on the YouTube channel or later on the podcast episode, make sure that you're following Tatjana on all of social media. Normally, what I would say is to put pause, hydrate, and then follow Tatjana. Leave a million likes, spread the word, share content, leave nothing but a lot of amazing, good, and epic vibes to her, because she totally deserves it. And then come back to finish it. And again, Tatjana, thank you so much for having you back here. I can't wait to see more of your awesome movies. I can't wait for another interview in the future. And before I send you off, it's time for the epic goodbye. So, you deserve this and a lot more, and I'm super sure we will be hearing more of those when you receive your Oscar. But in the meantime, keep having an amazing rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. You too. See you later.
Have a good one. Bye.